Let's go.
Dr. Rosie Milligan, one of the most sought-after speakers on the circuit today. Her live internet talk show, Express Yourself, is the most provocative, thought-provoking, and talked-about radio show on the internet. There's no holds barred, and Dr. Milligan puts the B in bold. She brings it every Tuesday live at 10 a.m. Pacific and 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Dr. Rosie has been proclaimed the most provocative female writer of the century. Her books include Satisfying the Black Man and Black Woman Sexually Made Simple, Why Black Men Choose White Women, and the book Nigga Please. These books have raised eyebrows across the country. She has authored 21 books and published 350 titles for authors nationwide. Check Dr. Rosie out at drrosie.com for her books, articles, and archives of her internet talk show. Sit at the feet of wisdom. Dr. Milligan is indeed a timekeeper and scorekeeper. She is the clock, calendar, and almanac for Black America. You need to hear her.
You listen to the Express Yourself Hour, and guess what? I am your host, Dr. Rosie Milligan, coming to you live with nothing but straight talk, folks. That's how we do it around here, nothing but straight talk. We have a wonderful show for you today, and my co-host is Dr. Andre Anthony. How are you, Dr. Anthony?
I'm wonderful. Happy to be here.
Recording in progress.
Absolutely, and I'm happy that you are here. As folks say, it's good to be seen. It's good to be seen.
Yes,
We're going to be seen and heard today. So I guess Keith will be coming on soon. I have other co-hosts, but we're going to roll this show right along because I'm telling you guys, we're in a critical state in America today, and it's no time for the sleepers. The sleepers better wake up, and understand what's going on. So today, we're going to talk about the 14th Amendment, what the Supreme Court decision could mean for Black America, which I believe it's coming up in June. They'll make a decision. They just made a decision last week, and the decision they made last week is almost tied in to the 14th Amendment. So I am pretty sure, I would almost bet money on it that they're going to gut it the same way they did the Voters Act. I just believe that. So we're going to take a good look at what's really at stake in the 14th Amendment decision. Citizenship on paper versus power in reality. And is the 14th Amendment being tested? You know, it's amazing. I was thinking, Dr. Andre, you know, when we get through high school and they teach us civics and we learn all this, it can't end anymore. I'm telling you, it's going to have to go on us understand our civic responsibilities and what's going on in government. I think once we get past high school, you're required to take these classes, and I think people tend to forget all about it after that. I really think that's what happened. But it needs to be in the forefront now of everything we do. We need to be reminded every day of what we learn about government and civic power, because most people have no clue. If you ask them about any amendment, they don't. The Constitution, what's that? You know. So I think we're gonna have to be reminded of that. Now, I have a wonderful guest here today. He's Mr. Ted Hayes. You guys remember him. I mean, he's done so much work. He is an American civil rights activist and advocate for the homeless and for the rights of people, known for funding innovative housing communities in Los Angeles and his long-standing social activism nationwide. Ted was the one who raised the issue about the homelessness in Los Angeles way before most people even knew it was an issue. I would say he's almost a father of the awareness of what was happening downtown in Skid Row, what was happening to the homeless people. He was fighting for them. He lived among them. He became a part of them. He has done so much work, and I'm glad I hadn't heard from him in a while. In fact, we were in D.C. Some years ago, doing a press release. So he's never stopped working. He just wasn't surfacing in Los Angeles for a while. We didn't see him, but I want to say, Mr. Ted, welcome back. Welcome to Los Angeles with your voice again. So I'm just happy that you're here. to help us to understand also uh, what could happen with the Supreme Court decision, what it means for black folks. You know, when we take a look at it, it's simple, plain language. If the protection is not upheld, Black America will have a fewer legal protection against discrimination. You know, what the 14th Amendment say that, you know, if you're born here, you are a citizen and you should be treated equal. If you sum it up, you be treated equal. That's a promise. And then they had to make all kind of laws to try to make sure the promise was upheld. But has it been upheld? Are we treated equal? Now, I'm really concerned about the 14th Amendment, Ted, because if discrimination act is if that portion is gutted, that's how I remember in L.A. how black people was able to move from Watson, other areas to the west side. Because discrimination, you can't live here, you can't move here, you can't get a job here, you can't go to school here, you can't sit here. So if that is gutted, I mean, I hope black folks understand what position that they could really be in if that is gutted. Already with the promise and with the law, you're still fighting like hell. But if it comes to a point that you got to prove discrimination, wow. Where do we stand for the future? Good morning, Mr. Hayes, and take it away. What are we up against right now? What are black folks up against?
Thank you, Dr. Rosie. Thank you very much. We are literally up against being nobodies, technically, being nobodies in this country. You think you got it rough now with the invasion, occupation of people from around the world, particularly from south of the border, particularly in these last 5 years under Mr. Biden. It was bad before Mr. Biden. And I've been aware of the invasion occupation since 2004. A gentleman by the name of James Spencer, young black man, former Marine Corps veteran, and one day, one of the meetings in the community, he approached me. And he brought this matter to my attention. He said, I'm not going to be able to do nothing for homeless or military veterans or anybody else until I deal with this issue with the border. I didn't want to hear it because I was very popular, particularly with the Hispanic Latino community in those days. And then he said to me, so what do you know about the 14th Amendment? And I said, well, the 14th Amendment is the citizenship of black folks, you know, because we were slaves. He said, that's right. He said, what do you know about the 1866 Civil Rights Act? I said, what? The 1866 Civil Rights Act. I said, I don't know about that. He said, I want you to go home and study that. I did. And I studied for 4 months. I studied the Bible, the documents, my own consciousness. And I realized the brother was right. And I asked him in a rhetorical question. We were just conversating about it. I said, well, James, how come black folks don't know about this? It's so crucial to our very life and existence in this country. He said, Ted, black people don't read. They don't read. He said, and those that do read, most of them can't comprehend what they're reading, even university students. I said, yeah, I know. And so that led me into holding a news conference in Leimert Park in, I think it was January 2005. And myself and several other black men with James, we began to bring up the question that we're not against nobody, but it seems like everybody's against us. And I said that, you know, our brown brothers, y'all don't know it, but you're choking us, man. Y'all choking us. You're taking that which is ours, specifically ours. Oh, you a racist. You anti-Mexican. You anti-immigrant. And it got so bad over time that my life is now threatened by these people called La Raza. When I went to Maryland to testify in the legislature, they threatened my life. Now, where we are today. Now, whether you like Mr. Trump or not, hate him, love him, that's totally irrelevant at this point in the game. What is important was, in 2015, Now, I'm a cat that don't care about Trump. I care that's about these. Dr. Rosie was right about that voting thing. They done deceived us big time on that one in so many ways. And this man said, I'm running for president. I said, this idiot going to say. I sat down and listened to him. He said, well, first of all, I'm going to close the border because I'm going to stop illegal immigration. That was the first word out of his mouth. Then a week later, he said, he said, because it hurts African Americans more than anybody else. Now, I'm the first guy that said that back in 2005 on Fox News and CNN and the papers and on podcasts. I said illegal immigration occupation is the greatest threat to us black citizens since chattel slavery. And that's what got my goose cooked. And I said to them, y'all need to go home, respectfully, and take all your babies with you. Why did I say that? Because they have a belief, some lawyers who used to defend us back in the 60s got tired of defending us, and they wanted to defend some other colored people. And they told these people from Mexico, primarily Guatemala, El Salvador, Nicaragua, that black people don't care about their citizenship no more. Black people don't care about their 14th Amendment no more. If you ask black people, what's the 14th Amendment? 98% I'm going to tell you, that's a free from slavery, or what is that? And they told these people, if you go to America, women, and you go there pregnant, or you go there and you get pregnant while you are in that country illegally, you didn't come through the portal. Now, if you want to come into the United States of America, it's something called Article 1, Section 8 of the U.S. Constitution. You go through that because that is custom and immigration naturalization. The only ones that don't have to go through that is you and me. See, because we're born here. And we've always been under the jurisdiction and the subjugation of the United States on two levels. One, as slaves. We were totally, like nobody else, under their absolute subjugation. Second time, as citizenship. When they made us citizens, we didn't ask to be citizens. Frederick Douglass and some of the elite leaders at the time, yeah, they were fussing about it, but the majority of us did not know what was going on. Why? For the same reason James Spencer told me, Ted, black people don't read. It's not like our ancestors in 1866 and 68 did not want to read. For 245 years, by law, we were not allowed to read. And if you thought you were a smart nigga and you messed around here and learned to read, if we catch you, you would get beaten or you would get murdered, lynched. Especially if you got caught reading the Bible. Don't read about nobody's Moses, okay? And so we developed for 245 years a systemic attitude in our minds, a fear attitude of education, of enlightenment, of wanting to see. I know a certain ethnic group in this country I used to live with, they all wear glasses. Come to find out, the reason they wear glasses, I did research, they were martyred in Europe for their Christian faith and belief in Christ. Horrible, horrible moderation. But what got them martyred was they were social activists. They believed in fairness because the Bible said treat people right and just, and they were coming after the government, and so they messed them up. So these people, now they're like this. They have a wealthy life. They're called Mennonites. They're very wealthy people. They're almost like Jews. They have their own culture, their own dress style, their own economy, you know, and they all wear glasses because they don't want to see. Same with us. Written on the walls of our DNA is fear education, fear the light. Don't get literate. The white man used to tell us, boy, why you want to read? Why you want to trouble yourself with the white man's world? See, then, after we were liberated with the what? 13th Amendment, abolished slavery. Then they said, we've got to give these people some special laws that nobody else has. Laws that will give them such power that they could actually order the President of the United States and the U.S. military for their protection. But the key is, they've got to be aware of it. And then part two of the being aware of it, they got to be able to read. And then when they read, they got to be able to comprehend that which they read, and they'll be able to touch the treasure. So what happened then was in 1866, something came out called the Black Codes. It was created by Christian, born-again Christians, Bible-believing Christians in the Confederate South, the former Confederate South. That's the Bible Belt. And they came up with scriptures that justified the Democratic Party to write laws to maintain not only our slavery, but write laws to maintain the black codes that denied us the right to read. White boys from the North, Republican young white boys from the North, used to ride down to the South to talk with the freedmen, the former slaves, and to educate them, to get them literate so they can read the Constitution and read their citizenship so they get the power to free themselves here and otherwise. You don't hear about this. They lynched them white boys. Them white boys hate them white boys more than they hated us. And they lynched them for trying to read. Now, this went on for quite a while, intimidation to read. That's why we had the whole segregation would not allow us equal education. I grew up under Jim Crow. I went to all black schools, segregated schools, in the 50s and the 60s. And we got secondhand books and all kinds of garbage and stuff like that. They did not want us to read. Even though Dwight Eisenhower back in 1954 and the Brown versus the Board of Education, that black kids, federal children, should be allowed to get the same equal opportunity as an education as the white kids. And of course that ultimately led to busing and all that bullshit, excuse my language, which was unnecessary. There was another way of dealing with that. That forced integration destroyed our people, y'all. When we were called Negroes and colored back in them days, we owned stuff, we were somebody. But since that 1964 Civil Rights Act passed, that was the almost a death blow to our community. Because then, as y'all notice, through the welfare and the drugs, y'all see where we are today. Now, since that time, our young people see another young black kid with books in his hand, speaking proper English, going to school. They're called Uncle Toms and sellouts and want to kill them and beat their butts. See, that fear moment is in their heads, and these kids don't even realize they're putting a noose around their own necks because we've been kept in the dark. So, here we come up to in the 2020s. This man says the 14th Amendment, that which gives a person citizenship for being born in this country, is not for anchor babies. It is not for illegal aliens. Whether white, brown, red, yellow, black, it doesn't matter. It's for the slave babies and the slave babies only. That's when the Democrats hit the ceiling. And I leaned forward and said, what? Then he went on to say, have y'all noticed that all your cities are run by Democrats? Have y'all noticed that Democrats come around only when they want you vote? And then when they get you vote, you don't see them no more, do you? You voted. What'd you get for it, right? Now they're talking about, I'm adding this part now. Now they're talking about redistricting. You see some of the stuff they're doing? Okay, that's okay. The point is, then the man went on to say, I want to finish what, I'm paraphrasing at this point, I want to finish what Abraham Lincoln started. And that's why Donald Trump got kicked out of the Democrat circles, why I call him a racist and every foul thing you can think of. Because Trump's an asshole in many ways. I do not question it. I got an issue with the cat right now. I'm the only cat in the country challenging him on the homeless matter because he has said by 2028, if y'all don't fix homelessness through your social services, I'm going to do it. I'm going to use the military. I'm going to round everybody up in one day. And I'm going to put them on federal property, way away from the urban centers. And I'm going to put them in 10 cities. Now, I'll take care of them out there. And he said, I know it sounds bad, but if you don't like it, then why don't you put up something to stop me, to make me do something else? Now, I've been fighting him since 2022 on this issue, publicly, on his website, on Truth Social. I called him. I got videos out about it. Nobody in the country has stood with me against Donald Trump. Not even not even our African-American civil rights representatives. They called him Hitler. They called him all kind of evil things. And when I jumped out and said, wait a minute, this man just barked like Hitler. That's what Hitler did. Hitler took away the homeless, the mentally ill, the disabled, the drug addicts, the alcoholics, what he called the vermin of the streets, because they were a threat to public health and safety. If you listen, that's what they're talking about now. Karen Bass told us privately, one of our people, when they were asked, do you agree with Donald Trump's plan to use the military to resolve homelessness before the 2020 Olympics? And the person pulled us, and Karen Bass pulled this woman aside and said, I don't agree. I don't like Trump, but his plan to resolve homelessness, I agree, because it is out of hand. And then she said in February at a Black History event in Hollywood, she said, look, y'all, we got to solve homelessness. If not, there's a man 3,000 miles away from me in the White House who said he's going to do it with the military. So here I am. I'm fighting this cat. Yet at the same time, I recognize that he has brought up an issue that our own African American leaders will not bring up. You ask Congresswoman Maxine Waters, any of the African American leaders in Congress, Danny Davis, Bobby Rush, you ask anybody in the Board of Supervisors and anybody left on the LA City Council, and ask your preacher, ask your bishop. Now, I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but ask your bishop and your preachers, what do you know about the 14th Amendment, white people? Huh? The 14th Amendment. Huh? Yeah. How about the Civil Rights Act of 1866? Now, one politician, I won't give the name, when we brought it up to her, she said, I don't want to talk about the 14th Amendment. Yet, the Congressional Hispanic Latino Caucus talk about it all the time. And they're saying that when that baby is born in this country, yes, illegal to your parents here, illegally, we admit that, but that child is now a citizen. Now, here's the tricky part. If it remains, that child has 4 children. This is my research, an average of 4 children. Those 4 children have 4 children, all illegal aliens, all presumed citizens. Those 4, let's say that started back in let's see, they got amnesty in 1986 under Ronald Reagan. 3 million of them got amnesty. Well, soon as the amnesty was over, that's when they began to switch the dialogue from just coming across the border to having babies born. I call it the anchor baby bomb. Because the Raza wasn't looking at winning on the border, which they did. Eventually, they got enough people in. They was looking at what I call the biological anchor baby bomb that in time will eliminate you and me as politically inconsequential. In other words, the 15th Amendment, the 4 most important federal documents that pertain to us. The Emancipation Proclamation,
13.
which most people think is dead. The 13th Amendment, which ended slavery. The 14th, except in prison. Got to watch that one. The 14th Amendment, which we think is our citizenship. I'll come back to that. And the 15th Amendment, our power and authority, not right, our power and authority and duty to vote. I call those the triad amendments. You cannot have the 13th without the 14th, or the 13th without the 15th, or the 14th without the 15th, 13th. It's like a 3-legged stool. You got to have them all together. There is no other set of laws in the highest law of the land but that one that pertains to our people. The 14th Amendment, well, the 15th Amendment. So, if they have all these babies from 1986, every year there is new people coming into the country who are illegal women, and then they have babies. This piles up from 1986 every year up until 2000, when did Trump close the border? 2005, somewhere in there, 2025, 26, the border's closed. Now, what we had, though, inside the border, under Biden, if not more than 10 million new people from around the world, particularly Hispanic Latino, in the country. All of those girls are going to have babies. Those babies are going to have babies. What I discovered, folks, the 14th Amendment, which they're arguing, and this is where we're going to beat them. I have a case right now in the Supreme Court. This is to our advantage. I was able to get it in on March the 18th on time before the closing date. I have a pro per amicus brief in the White House. I'm arguing what I call the smoking gun point. I've got a book out now. I'm going to send it to you shortly. You'll be able to read it. You can also go, I'll send you, or Tanja can send you the link to my amicus brief. That gives us some authority in the House. And what I'm arguing is that the 14th Amendment that they're using does not apply to black people's citizenship. It does not apply to nobody's citizenship. The 14th Amendment does not give you citizenship. That's been the big misnomer. But to our advantage, it is good that they have staked their claim on the 14th Amendment, because the 14th Amendment is not our citizenship. The 1866 Civil Rights Act, that is our citizenship. And in that act, there are 10 sections that describes our political power over the president and the United States military for our benefit, specifically for our citizenship. The 14th Amendment is the lock that puts our citizenship, it codifies our citizenship into the Constitution so nobody can get it. And it locks everybody else out. The 14th Amendment is not the law, it is a tool of the law. The 14th Amendment is like your body. Your body is the outer part that you see. The Civil Rights Act of 1866 is the inner part, your internal organs that make the outer part a reality. Without the 1866 Civil Rights Act, the 14th Amendment is null and void. It does not exist. You see, and the reason why they did that, y'all, because after the military relieved us from the Democrats and the Southern Christians from chattel slavery for 245 years, they thought, now wait a minute, these Republicans thinking now, right? Lincoln's folks, they're thinking, now wait a minute. These people been set free? Who are they? What are they? Now, there are two thoughts in their mind from what I can gather. Two thoughts. One thought was, we need to make them citizens, because if we don't make them citizens, they're nobody and they won't have no rights and no one to protect them, so let's bring them in the house. The other thought was, wait a minute, Dr. Rosie, who was the young man on the ship that commandeered that ship and took it to Boston? He had kind of a French name from Sierra Leone. The slaves, they took over that ship. Oh, I keep slipping my name. Anyway, the point is, they said, what if we get a smart nigga? What was it?
And Mark Nussey?
No. Didn't Mark Vesey led an insurrection down in North Carolina? Come on, y'all gonna kick yourselves.
Did that have to do with the Amistad?
Amistad, that's it, my sister. That's why I asked you. If anybody knows, you would know. Amistad. That brother was so smart. He organized himself for the freedom of his people, right? And they thinking, what if a few of these smart dudes like Frederick Douglass and say, wait, hey, hold up, y'all. Why do we want to be citizens of the United States when we can be a nation of our own? And we can use their very Constitution, their Declaration of Independence, all the things they gave them the right to fight England for their freedom. We use the same argument. And because the English and the French and everybody supported the United States and freed the slaves, if we declared self-determination, the U.S. could have done nothing. We could have said, yeah. And by the way, Abraham Lincoln, you gave up the 1862, the Homestead Act, all that land east of the Mississippi. We want that to be our nation. So they realized we had better make these people citizens and keep them under our jurisdiction. In fact, let's put them directly under the military and under the president. That way we keep control, we keep a watch over them, and that way we keep them safe. And the most important thing, we've got to keep them safe, because if we don't keep them safe, the rest of the world is going to look at us in the future as people who cheated. Because if we didn't have chattel slavery, we can't be the nation that we are. And running up to the present day, y'all, that is the argument that the President of the United States is facing with Iran, North Korea, China, Russia, every other country out there that's got a beef with the United States. They're mad at the United States. They accept the U.S. not because it's moral. They accept the United States because of its military might and its economics. In other words, I'm going to pay you to be at peace. If you don't be at peace, I'm going to kick your ass. Ain't nothing you can do about it. So either get along or get on. And so they say, well, Trump, the only reason why, Mr. President, the only reason why I respect you because of that. But we see you cheated. You couldn't put them satellites in space. You couldn't have this military, the economy you have, if it wasn't for the back of your black slaves who are homeless in your streets, who are filling your prison system, your prison industrial complex. We know what y'all doing. The black people upon whose back your nation of immigrants is built, those people lead in every negative social statistic in your country, and you're going to tell us how we should treat our people? Nah, nigga, we don't respect you, except for your power and your might, because what you did to black folks is wrong. The former president of Iran, Ahmadinejad, several years ago when he was president, go look it up, fact check me. He was at the United Nations, and he brought this subject up. He said, I'm a Jew. Not an Ashkenazi, but I relate to that community. And I believe the Holocaust happened. He said, we, Iranian Muslims, Shiites, we will acknowledge the Holocaust when America, England, and the West world, Canada, y'all admit to what you did to black people. You know, the United States, England, France, all the countries got up and walked out. He did it 2 years in a row. You see, this is the Achilles heel. We are the Achilles heel of the United States of America. Without us, it ain't nothing. Without America, there's no Israel, there's no Arabs, there's no Europe, there's no Africa, there's nothing, because all the technology and the power and the might comes out of this country. If there was no America, there would be no world. Guess what, y'all? What? If there wasn't the back of our ancestors, there'd be no America. Now, it's my intent along the road here to get this in everybody's head. It's time we get proud of our ancestors. They proud of their immigrant heritage. I'm an immigrant Polish, but we Choctaw slaves, descendants. So on our back, y'all stand. I'm finding, as I understand these laws and understand my role in our power, my attitude is changing. And the black folks I talked about this, by the time we're done, their attitude changes. They get on an offensive mode and is no longer in a defensive mode. Now, I'm gonna end this up here so I can get some specific questions and comments, and we can do a little bit more detail. And I hope we can do this again in the near future, because we only have, this is the deal, it's the scenario. All right, because Mr. Trump brought this issue up, they've been battling with it for 8 years now. Finally, he got into the Supreme Court. Now, on April the 1st of this year, which is April Fool's Day, ironically, the court heard oral arguments from the ACLU defending the anchor babies and from the Department of Justice, Trump's Department of Justice, defending the slave babies. The ACLU says the 14th Amendment belongs to the anchor babies. Donald Trump says, no, it belongs to the slave babies. Now, I agree with Trump on banning the anchor baby, 14th Amendment for them, the birthright citizenship. I agree 100%. But if the ACLU wins, let me set that up for you. If the ACLU wins and that the court rules in favor that the 14th Amendment belongs also to the anchor babies and us, we're done. Then we're done. We're finished. And believe me, the lawyers who's behind this case, they know that. It's like a tree. To kill a tree completely, you go down, as John the Baptist said, you cut the root, you cut that tap root, and you look at the tree, it don't look dead, but give it a few days and weeks, you start seeing that tree is dead. And that's what's going to happen to us. We won't know it at first. And again, had it not been brought up, they would have committed this cutting of our taproot without us even knowing it. We walk around wondering, how come people treating us? I go downtown to get some work done, and I tell them I'm gonna call the federal government. They say, well, go ahead. Do what you want to do. We go to county, can't get no help. It's bad enough we can't get any help now. We go to federal. Why? Because they have taken over, and we have no one to go to. We would have known that. Now, Mr. Trump, even if he wins, we still lose. Why? Because his ban begins, as it were, they decide, today, going forward. That doesn't help us. In fact, it will help to destroy us a lot quicker, because it will be a compromise. They won't be so mad at Trump no more. It's okay. Because it wasn't the real deal. Here's the real deal, black people. federal citizens, we want the ban to begin from this day retro to the first generations of anchor babies. From this day retro, and we cannot settle for nothing else. Therefore, my amicus brief goes right down the middle. I bring up a charge that answers. Let me read this. 14th Amendment, Section 1. All persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and the state wherein they reside. No state. Now, bear in mind now, when this was written, there was something called the black codes in every state, county, municipality against us. No state shall make or enforce any law which shall abridge the privileges or immunities of citizens, the people born, all persons born, of the United States, nor shall any state deprive any person of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor deny to any person within its jurisdiction the equal protection of the laws. There was no illegal aliens when this was written. This was written against the states. This was written against Jim Crowism and black codism. This was written to give us power. Not just protection, but power to advance. You see, so that's what's going on. And see, these sanctuary cities, y'all, there's a lot of things we can do to fight this, but we're running out of time. They're deliberating right now, the Supreme Court justices. They're going to make their decision at the end of June, several days before the 250th anniversary of the July 4th. One of the things that we could do is we could bring a lawsuit against the state of California and all states for sanctuary cities, sanctuary states. We can get them on sanctuary counties, sanctuary cities. All these people, according to our birthright citizenship law, can be put in jail. And down the road, I'm going to tell you how, where we have the power to put them and the President of the United States in jail, provided that we, the federal citizens, what I call the subject beneficiaries of these powerful laws, as long as we can prove harm. Watch this. Let me show you something. In the Act itself, in the Civil Rights Act itself, it tells you in Section 8 of the Act itself. Now, we've never done this to other people. Begin now. And be it further enacted that whenever the President of the United States shall have a reason to believe that offenses have been or are likely to be committed. They ain't been committed yet. If it's likely to be committed, there's a suspicion against the provisions of this act of citizenship within any judicial district, it shall be lawful for him and his discretion to direct the judge, the marshal, district attorney, such district to attend at such place within the district, and for such a time as he may designate for the purpose of a more speedy arrest and trial of persons charged with the violations of this act. Y'all didn't know that was it, did you? And Section 2 says this real quick. This is power, y'all. This is real black power here. It's real black power. Because, anyway, it goes on. Section 2. And it shall be further enacted that any person who under the color of any law, statute, ordinance, regulation, or custom, as birthright citizenship is, shall subject or cause to be subjected any inhabitant of any state, territory, to the deprivation of any right secured or protected by this act, or to different punishment, pains, or penalties on account of such a person having at any time been held in a condition of slavery or involuntary servitude, except as a punishment for crime whereof the party shall have been duly convicted, or by reason of his color or race than his prescribed for the punishment of white persons shall be deemed guilty of a misdemeanor, and a conviction of law shall be punished. You know we had that, did you? See, the key is this, though, y'all. The key to the United States House is we the people. That's the first word in the U.S. Constitution and preamble. We the people, in order to more perfect the union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, etc. The people in government don't have to work this way, but the people out of government in the streets, we have to be organized. And we have to be organized in such a way that we know what we're doing, what we want, when we want it, how we want it. When we do that, we approach. Now, there's no greater power in America than a group of organized black people. They always feared that, no, they didn't fear, they never feared us in the sense that we would ever get ourselves together. That's why these powers are there, and people are really not, are ignoring it, because they don't think we can ever get it together. Thank you. We are awake now. All we have to do now is understand these laws. These are our laws. The last thing King told us before he left here on April the 3rd, on the 4th, he said on April 3rd, white people, most of us, we ain't mad at y'all. We really ain't. What we really want, always want, is for y'all who wrote these laws to live up to them. That's all we want.
The promise.
Keep the promise.
Keep the promise.
But see, if somebody owes you some money and you don't call and say, hey, yo, where's my money at? They ain't going to pay you. Why should they? I'm more than they should. But so what's got to happen, y'all? Happy birthday, black people. This is our day of awakening. This is our day of power. I'm done. Questions?
You're absolutely right. King did make the statement that you wrote us a check, and we're here today to cash.
See, on June the 7th, y'all, I would like to go to, I'd like for a group of us to go to D.C. I'm starting to raise some money now. It's going to be expensive, but what's expense when we're fighting for the life of our people? I want to go to D.C. on June the 7th, hold a news conference, a little march with the local people there. And what we have to do, we have to focus our attention on Clarence Thomas and Ketanji Jackson Brown. Why? Because they're the only two, those two are chattel slaves, male and female. Now, the law that they are deliberating about right now is the law that put them in power, 1866 Civil Rights Act. So we have to let them know, because I know Ketanji Jackson and Clarence Thomas knows what I'm telling you now. Everybody in downtown Los Angeles who knows anything about anything, they know exactly and more what I'm telling you right now. The problem with the African-American leadership, particularly in the Supreme Court, they want to fight for us. I've talked to different ones, but when they look out their window and they don't see black folks marching and doing things, but shaking the booty and fighting and carrying on, they don't feel comfortable with standing up in the halls of power and defending us when they see there's nothing out there happening. Now, if we can show them, our brothers and sisters, that we're out here, we got their back, that this is our will, I believe they will stand up then. They'll have no choice. And God will bless. We all believe in the Lord and the Holy Spirit, that if we ourselves begin to do our part, then the Lord will feel more comfortable about convicting people of sin and of righteousness who's standing in our way. You see, Danny Davis, my friend from Chicago, a friend of Barack Obama, like card-carrying communist black dude, right? And he and I on the radio together. We were going back and forth on this thing, right? Because he's for the illegal aliens, not for us, right? And he said, well, Ted, look, man, brother, I hear you, I really do. He said, but every weekend we see the illegal, what y'all call the illegal aliens, they out in the streets. They demonstrating, they protesting, they doing something. But we don't see nothing from y'all. That's why they got it in their head that y'all don't want your civil rights no more. That was on us. That's not them.
Ted, I want to pause because I do want those online in our audience to have questions for you. So at this time, if you can put a question in the chat, or you can open the mic and you can ask that question, because this is very important, the conversation that we've had here today. And it's really time that we understand what's at hand, what's at stake. And there's a lot at stake. But one question, Ted, I want to say to you, I realize that we should be marching, we should be doing certain things. But isn't that why we put these folks in Congress and representatives? Shouldn't they have been the one on top of this Just
With all due,
asking a question.
with all due respect, Doctor, no, ma'am. No, that's not the Constitution. They're not supposed to do nothing. If you hire Dr. Rosie, if you hire somebody in your business, you're the boss. You pay them, and you don't supervise them and stay on them, and they tell you business up. Yeah, you're gonna fire them, but you're really to blame because you did not protect your property. You see, that's King told us. He said, "You have the promissory note. Now go to the Palace of Justice. Go to the Palace of Justice and cash it." Well, the mistake we make in the 2, 4, 6 year voting cycle of the federal government, we vote for these people, then we turn around and walk away as though they're going to do the right thing. They're human
Yeah.
beings. They're lazy. They're selfish. They're egotistical. They're greedy. That's human nature. I know if I'm working a job and I'm a very moral guy, if the boss sit around, I'm going to take me a nap. You see, we cannot allow that. Now, should we win this fight, I have some measures by which we can keep that straight, and we'll fix that, Dr. Rosie. We have to make them work. You know what? I don't get along with Barack Obama with almost anything that man has said and done. But you know what I do agree with Barack Obama on? And he was absolutely constitutionally correct when black folks were, "Man, you black man, you need to do something for us, nigga." Barack Obama said, "Look, niggas, if y'all want me to do something for you, you have to make me." Because that's what the white people do. They make us do it. We all got to get up in this lobby, in this hallways. You got to bang on the White House door. You got to do some demonstrations. Let us know you are not satisfied. Then we'll obey. That's
Okay.
my belief now. That's how.
Well, I believe what you're saying. When Dr. Anderson was fighting for the Freedmen's Act as far as the 1866 treaty, if you can't honor a treaty, which is the highest law in the land, but he said to me that some of those representatives said to him, if you had your people fighting for you and with you, this would have been over. But all we see, Dr. Anderson, is you. So I know you're absolutely right. So
In
I
fact,
do want to take.
I just talked to Dr. Anderson the other day. I gave him a call. I try to stay in touch with him as much as possible and update him. He's pretty up there in age. I talk with his wife, mostly now. But yeah, and we talked about this matter. Yeah,
because
we have
he's
to.
my
If we
he's
had
my
listened to
friend.
Dr. Anderson when he
All
came
this would have been
through,
over. We don't listen to the elders. We're trying to get it out. But I do want to take some questions because you all thought enough to come on here to really see what was going on. And I hope you take action. And I put my email. You guys can email me, call me so you can find out what you can do further to help. Many times when you can't go to demonstrate or be there, what you can do is support the people who can go. So go ahead and open your mic. I think Asada had a question. Somebody had a question. I'm putting my email in the chat.
y'all can
Yeah,
also call me. You can also
I
call me
wanted to
anytime.
address. I'm
If they
sorry.
call me, we'll make sure we give them your information, Ted. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to address something that Dr. Rosie, you said when I first signed in, and that is at this point, how really relevant is the vote to this issue that we're concerned about the amendment? You mentioned that we've had the vote like several hundred years, with different amendments back and forth, and what has it really done for us? So what should be our focus right now?
Right now, our focus is to take this information. I presume that this has been recorded. Take this video, get it to your family and friends. Call your mom, your daddy, your sisters, your cousins. Call everybody you know, your friends. Just tell them, are you aware that the Supreme Court is right now deciding the fate of black people's citizenship? That's all you need. And they'll say, what? Yes, you didn't know that, did you? They always keep stuff from us. Well, this is what's going on. You give them the A, B, C, and D. What we want to happen, we want the president, I'm sending him a letter, we want the president to withdraw his case because his case is detrimental. We want the ACLU to withdraw. We want the Supreme Court to toss it out until the president of the United States Congress, with Supreme Court support, run about a month-long national awareness campaign aimed specifically at federal citizens to let us know what the original intent of the constitutional citizenship to us is about. Once we are sufficiently educated, now let's talk about other people's right. And if the president does it the way we want him to do it, which we will make him do, this conversation about anchor babies and illegal immigration is over. We won't
Ted,
have to argue with these people. When the president and Congress says this is the meaning of the law, it's over.
Ted, are you talking about, can you give the audience in simple layman's terms what you want the president to do and how will it impact us? In plain, you're talking to a sixth grader.
Okay.
And then, in addition to that, I asked about the vote. How relevant is the vote to all
Right
of
now,
this?
nothing. Right now, nothing. It can't do you no good right now. Not on this issue. This will be decided in the next month and a half, this issue. And the only way to stop this is do what I'm going to tell you now. We will.
Tanya, put Ted's phone number in the chat.
Son, I will call you back, okay? I'll call you back. Thanks. They will announce at the end of June, but they'll make up their mind before that. We have got to get in there and get them to shut this thing down. We want them to shut it down until the conversation is kaput, until the president, if he says he wants to have black people, this is the best thing he could do. Is big reparations. The best thing he could do is lead a campaign of literacy on our constitutional citizenship. And we want the Congress who wrote these laws to back it up and say to everybody, this is the original meaning.
The original intent.
Original intent. Democrats and Republicans, they cannot deny that. Once we understand the original intent, we say, well then, if that is the case, how come we see all these folks out here homeless and blah, 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 blah? It's because it was never enforced. And now, I'll give you the evidence. It has never been enforced. And we are here today, America. We are going to tell the world this law was written initially, first and foremost, for the chattel slaves and their descended children. Until
They can't
have
argue
gotten that
that.
fulfilled, nobody else allowed to the table.
They can't argue that.
They can't argue that.
They can't argue what those constitutional amendments was for. And
What's
they, as
for?
Dr. Anderson said, the constitutional amendment that was written for black folks have
Only.
benefited, I'm going to say that, have benefited everybody
But us.
except the people that it was written for, because we have moved away from understanding. When we left high school, we forgot all about what they told us in government and civic and went on about our business, trying to make sure we had could sit at the table with the other folks, could eat with them, to go to school with them, and we missed the mark. Okay, well,
And
someone else.
we're now given an opportunity. So you tell your people, look, the Supreme Court is
Tanya, put his number in the
liberating
chat.
on our citizenship rights.
But Ted,
Whether
tell them
we should have
exactly how this can go as the one they just gutted for the voters' right. If this is gutted, what can happen to black folk? Just sum it up in a nutshell.
We're done. If they give 1 inch of this to them, we are technically over. And you're going to see, like that tree with the taproot cut, gradual things begin to die rapid about our people, and we'll have no protection. That's the bottom line. That's what's going to happen.
Because when you think about, if they gut the fact, for protection, discrimination, public, and all of this, we moved to the next level because we were able to move to the neighborhood we wanted to. There was a time, see, a lot of young folk don't know, there was a time that black folk couldn't live in certain neighborhoods. You couldn't buy property here. You couldn't go to school here. We're not just talking about sitting down in the restaurant. We're talking about where you could live.
That's right.
So now if that is gutted and you have to prove how you were hurt with that discrimination, number one, you don't have enough money to go to court to prove anything in the first place. They got
That's
you
what
right
they
there.
know.
Okay?
Right.
So if that thing is gutted, like you said, Ted, it's over. You don't have a leg to stand on, don't care how you are being mistreated. That's the
Even if
bottom
you're
line.
rich, even if you so-called nigga rich, Beyonce,
You
all
can't.
y'all,
You cannot
we're gonna
prove.
take you too
You got to
eventually.
prove it. Prove that they
They'll
meant
have you
harm.
in court. They'll have you in court burning up all your money.
I hope everybody understand the
I, I, I,
importance.
I need just to, there's a major movement right now, and it's based around uh, voting, based on the 14th Amendment. Okay, so you're saying that we should not, there should be no decision in the Supreme Court until everybody understands what's going on. But in
Yes.
the meantime, several states have already suspended that and have already,
Oh,
put things.
that Sasana, that's for the Voters Act, the
Yeah.
one that the
It's a different
Supreme.
story.
Yeah, they're so close connected. We really need to have this.
And that's
Need
what
to
I'm
do this
concerned
show
about.
again. They are connected. That was the Voters Act. They have already suspended that. So they are already saying, well, let's move our election up. Give us a chance to redraw the map so we know we can win on the Republican side. Gerrymandering. That was the voter. You have the Voters Act and you have the Civil Rights Act. So they're so tied in together
But
because
see,
both of
again,
them give
if you
equal protection, but you don't have it.
if you want to get the listen, they've been playing with us. Listen, Jesse Jackson started this voters' right business. Ain't no such thing, okay? We already have the right in the 15th Amendment. He is the one that diluted this and got this thing going. Ain't no other people in America got to revote, reconsider the vote. Asians don't do it. Hispanics don't do it. Whites don't do it. Jews, Muslims. We're the only people. Why? Jesse Jackson started this. Okay? Now, I don't want to go that right now. We can deal with that later. But the most important thing right now, y'all, right now, put aside your voting concerns right now. Just put that stuff aside right now. Right now, for the next month and a half, it's only a month and a half, y'all. Work with Dr. Rosie, with Tanja, myself, this group. Work. Let's get on the. I talked to Trump's lawyer the other day, his number one lawyer on this topic. Okay, he and I have been talking before he knew Trump on this years ago. I sent him a letter. I sent him my press statement. I sent him what I want to tell the president. I said, now, Mr. Eastman, you go ahead and and you whatever challenge you do, you let the president know that we're going to be speaking on this, and that his case does not go far enough. I told him this is what we want.
I do
So
have
the
one
fight is
question.
on.
Okay, go ahead with the question,
Is there
son.
any information that's written up already about what you're talking about that we could outreach with?
Yes, ma'am. If you want to, you can. Tanja can send you the amicus brief. You can read my statement. Forget about that stuff that's up in front of it, all that protocol stuff. Just go directly to the conversation. You can go.
Tanya, put your information in the chat so they can reach out to you to get this information. But Ted, let me say this. Everybody's up about the holding meetings, who you should vote for. Let's make sure we put the right person. Now, I want you all to understand something real clear. I don't care who they put in office this year. If what we are talking about is not put in order, none of that gonna mean nothing to
Nothing.
you about who
That's
the
right.
governor is or
That's
who
right.
the
Don't matter.
city council is. I'm
Yep.
telling you all. Now, when
Yep.
I say this, people think I'm anti-voting. I'm not
No.
anti-voting. I want people to understand that the freedom does not end with you going to the poll. I can't say that enough. I mean, everything is now holding meetings all across. They ask the question, well, you need to make sure, see what they say they're going to do for us. I told them, I'm like my daddy. Daddy says, not what you going to do, it's what you done. That's the question. What have you done? Not what you going to do. Anybody can say what they going to do. So, Asada, you're absolutely right, but I want you all to know just what happened with the Supreme Court last week and what might happen in June will nullify every vote that you have
Yeah.
cast.
That's it. Dr. Rosa, you
Now,
nailed it.
oh, my co-host, I haven't even let her say the word. Come on, baby. I'm so sorry.
I did.
Hey, Gloria.
Come on,
Hey, good
doctor.
to see you. Good to see you. Go ahead, doctor.
And no, I just really think that This was great information. I really hope more people get to see it when it's put out into the world. And one of the things I think is most important is for our younger generation to be educated about what's going on and know that, because unfortunately a lot of that is blocked in our educational institutions, and we learn the basics when we're in school, and that's what they're learning now. But to really know what this means, it takes a lot of conversation in the educational institution, but most importantly in our families and in our homes.
Can we do a part 2 next week, Ted?
Yes, ma'am. I'm here. This is my number one issue right now. I can't even help the homeless at this point, and I have the best plan for the homeless in the country. I can't even help them right now until we win this fight. We win this fight, we can do anything we want. If we don't win this fight, I got to re-strategize my whole life, as y'all will have to do it too.
Yeah, I want you all to put in the chat if you think we should have a part 2 and that you would invite people. Put it in the
That's the
chat
key.
right quick.
Invite people.
Because I am one who want to know, Ted. At this age, I want to know what the people want, and that's what they're saying. You know, political people. I want to know what you want. So if they don't know what we want, then why are they going to be fighting for? I want to know if we do a part 2, will you all pack this? Will you all break the count for this
Yes,
Zoom
ma'am.
that no more people can get in? You
Yes,
heard
ma'am.
Asada talk about the 3,000 or 8,000 black women was on this Zoom
It was
last week.
10,000.
10,000. Look how many got on when Kamala was running for president. They broke the Zoom. This is what we need to be shut down. That Zoom said, can't no more people get on here. You go. This is the real issue.
And let me tell y'all something.
Information.
What Doctor saying right there? Check it out. If we have a bunch of folks on here next week, guarantee you, Mr. Trump gonna listen in. Guarantee. I can't guarantee nothing, but he will listen. If we can have a bunch of folks on here next week, and he know about it, he's gonna listen in. Or someone record it and say, Mr. Trump, you got a problem in L.A. You got a
I want
problem
to make a
nationwide. Black
suggestion.
folks are waking up.
I like
Asada,
to
go
make
ahead.
a suggestion. With when with black women, if we could make some contact with them and get this issue on their platform, they already have 10,000 people
Why don't you
tuning in.
go for it, Asada? Why don't you do that? You lead the way, we'll
I don't
follow.
know how to make the contact.
Find out. Research. Get on
I'll try.
Google.
What's the name of them, Masada?
When with black women. Their latest video is on YouTube. They were last night addressing the 14th Amendment and the Voting Rights Act. Did you hear me?
Yes.
You can
So I'll
also
make
go
sure
on.
if it's on YouTube, I'll make sure you all need to listen. We
You
want to
can also go on.
make sure they have the straight of it. That's what I'm saying.
Exactly. That's exactly what I'm talking about. I was listening the other night, and that was just Sunday night, and they put a lot of emphasis on people getting out for the vote. There was not as much emphasis put out on really understanding, why the 14th Amendment is so critical.
Yeah, yeah. You're right, sister. You're so right. By the way, y'all, when you go online, when you go do your search engine, look up Trump versus Barbara, birthright citizenship case, Supreme Court case. Trump versus Barbara.
Barbara,
Yes,
regular
ma'am.
Barbara.
Yes, ma'am, Barbara.
Okay.
And do your own fact checking, y'all. It's worth your time. I know you're busy. You got your family, your job, and your ministries. You got to put this number one now. It's like going to the airport to travel overseas. They say, "May I see your? Let me see your passport." That's the first thing they want to do. Let me see your passport. This is your passport, y'all. Your passport not only to freedom and protection, but to power.
Yeah.
Can I show you real quick what power I'm talking about?
We
You
got
go
just
when
a
you go
few
go to my
minutes.
website, or Tanja will send you information.
You guys
Can I,
email
can,
so
can I excuse me, can I just get that Trump versus Barbara, what else?
Trump versus Barbara, birthright citizenship, Supreme Court case.
Okay, thank you.
Throughout history, the Supreme Court, I discovered, has always on this topic ruled against us. So we're poised. That's why we want them to stop until we know what's going on. But please tell your friends. And if you have Hispanic friends or European friends or whatever, and if you got an illegal alien friend, I got illegal alien friends, make sure you tell them we're not against y'all. If anybody is for everybody, black folks are. You come to our neighborhoods, immigrants have always come here, made your living off of us. We didn't bother y'all, and you get on about your business and leave us here. This one, we're not anti-immigration. We're not anti-Mexican or anybody like that. We're not anti-illegal aliens. We are pro-us. All we're doing is waking up to what this white man, wrote about us. Y'all can support that, can't you? We'll put it like that to them. Y'all can support that, can't you? Oh, yeah, it's no problem.
Well, Ted, what did
that ends the argument with them.
Yeah.
That ends them calling us racist, anti-Mexican, and all that stuff they want to put on us.
What did Dr. Anderson say so many years ago, and other folks have said? We're being buried alive if things doesn't change. And you can see it right before your eyes. So we're not talking about people who are coming into this country the way we would go into other countries.
Right.
The issue is you just busting up in here and you're being protected and we're not.
That's right. That's why I'm not for multiculturalism.
May I add that and I know some of you guys probably already seen and heard this. There was a plan that the Latino community, including the officials that were Latino, and they had a secret coalition of people, big leaders out here in 1995. And they talked about the conversations was like, yeah, let's take this back. But in 5 years, this is 1995, they said in 5 years, we'll be the majority and they'll be the minority. We will keep having babies and babies. By that time, our babies will be in college. We will be in the courtrooms. We will be in the school board. We will be in every corporate office in LA, in California, and we will take over. These were their exact words.
And you know what, Tanya?
And I'm looking at it.
Tanya, I'm gonna collect today. We have 50 CD tapes. I'm gonna get them to Tanya. Hope today, or Tanya, maybe you can go by and get them because I got a bunch of stuff going on. But these tapes was created way back in the 1980s.
95.
No, 80s. This is 80s.
Oh.
I know the lady who put it together, Barbara Cole. She's passed on to heaven now, and I'm gonna give it to you. You won't believe how these
but you need to hear
about
it.
us.
But wait, Tanya,
everybody should hear that.
Huh? Absolutely, you're right. But let me say this to you all: I want to go on record. I applaud them. I applaud them.
They had a plan.
Say it again. I applaud them.
They
had a plan.
We are in the ditch right now because we have not had a national plan. And Dr. Claude Anderson, along the national, you know, tried to give it to us.
Sure
the
did.
reason that we do not have reparation, we couldn't even plan that together.
Come on.
This group here saying we should get it. This one saying they shouldn't get it. So everybody's just seeing us fight over what we should have had a long time ago, and we would never come into our economic power without reparation. We're too far in the ditch, we're too far behind, and the laws that's in place right now that they're being looked at in the Supreme Court gonna take us further. To have rights with no power means nothing. To have no money means no power. So
and the power happens when you show up. That's good for
I like
white
to make
folks,
a pitch.
good for everybody. And
like
Dr. Rosie is right. You cannot be angry with these people for taking advantage of us.
Go ahead, Kasana, and we're going to jump off. Go ahead.
Can I make a pitch?
Yes, unless Jamal give us a few more minutes, he can put it in the chat if we have a few more minutes. Go ahead.
Okay, we have one candidate running for Assembly District 55 that is addressing reparations, and that's Billion Godson. He's the only one, and he's talking about the international case, talking about the international advocacy around black folks being the greatest tragedy of history in terms of slavery. His name is Billion Godson. I think we need to give him a try.
You know what? I'm not gonna pass my opinion because somebody would think something wrong with me. I give no credence to what any of these politicians are saying when they're running for election.
You'll be
Hell,
both.
if I didn't hear you say it before you got on that ballot, I'm not interested. I'm serious. I
Well,
want
he
you all to
was saying it. He's
understand.
been saying it, Miss Rosie, all along.
Well, anyway, listen. Let me share this last thing with y'all. And next week, if you like, we're gonna focus on what I call the smoking gun evidence that we are the people that should be getting this business. When the Civil Rights Act of 1866 was a bill, this was not a treaty. This is an actual congressional act. When it hit the man's desk, President Johnson, a Democrat, took over for Abraham Lincoln. He's not a dumb man. When it hit his desk, he read all the 10 sections. When he was done, he wrote, I said, I'm going to veto this. And he wrote a letter to the United States Senate. This is an official document. Among other things, he identified us. He called us by name. He said they're black, they're Negroes, they're colored, they're slaves, and they're stupid, and they're ignorant, and all those other things, but identified us, not some illegal alien. He said this. He said, the reason I'm going to veto this because it wasn't that he wasn't for us having citizenship. He would have fine. It because he said this document gives the black citizens too much power over the white citizens. These are his actual words. Then he went on to say this. He said, for the first time in history, here is a people that are given power over the central government, the President of the United States and the United States military. As long as this nation shall live, these people, should they wake up, will have that power. I call it the Lincoln curse. He vetoed it.
Yeah.
Now, ladies and gentlemen,
The people on the line. They're not really advanced in what you're talking about.
Oh.
But I understand some of their concerns. One is saying we keep spinning our wheels, but we're not doing nothing. We got to start somewhere, guys, and we got to start with educating ourselves. We can't start moving if we don't know what we're moving about. We can't start doing unless we know what we're doing.
We got 2 more minutes. Let me say this, you all.
yes, ma'am.
Ted, you mentioned you give them power that they're going to be over us. Be very clear. They're not talking about that now. They are concerned about them being over them because they have outnumbered all of us. So we're not in the equation. Come on now. They're not trying to fight for us right now. They are saying, no, you will be over us. So the real fight is not about how they're going to knock black folks out. Come on now. It's about how they're going to knock them out. Because even if we were more than them, we have been beaten down so that we couldn't even counteract because we still love mass. Okay?
That's right.
So it's not about black folk. Don't think that. Okay? So you guys just got to get on next week. And Terrell, I want you to call me because, yes, there's been a lot of talk. But it wasn't talk coming from Dr. Milligan. Okay? It wasn't a talk from the new people who are rising up, who are not being paid. So we're on a new day. You're right. People do a lot of talking. They go home. That's why I don't fool with a lot of them. That's why I'm not in a lot of these organizations. You don't see my name showing up with them. Because it's meeting and eating, Terrell. So today, we don't have no choice. Right. We got to take with the people, not the one that the big people have endorsed. See, we good at if Karen Bass endorsed me, Maxine Waters, and all those people, you guys would rally around me. But I'm a street girl.
That's right.
I'm the hood girl.
That's right.
I'm down here with you.
That's right.
They didn't blow me up. So
that's
what
right.
I have to say may not mean as much to you, but I'm anointed to do what I do.
That's right.
And this is our time.
That's right.
So next week, will you all join us? Will you join us next week, Terrell?
Can I say something?
Yes, you can.
This is just my view and my opinion. We got hella scholars as black people. We got some phenomenal, excellent people. But we can't get past the talk. And really, what you're saying, Dr. Rose, Ms. Milligan, it's why we're where we at. Because we got the so-called leaders in position, and they up there puppet mastering. they not doing shit for us. Excuse my language. They ain't doing nothing for us. And like
They
you
not
said,
leaders. They so-called.
they puppets. They puppets that they put in position. And as far as what other people doing, shit, they doing what the hell they supposed to be doing. Fighting for their nation, fighting for their people, like we supposed to be doing. So we can't never be mad at nobody that's fighting for their
And
nation.
I'm not.
That's an
I
example
applaud
of what the hell we supposed to be doing.
I applaud them.
Exactly. They doing what the hell we supposed to be doing. And people are always told what they do. Damn what they doing. They doing what they supposed to be doing.
I'm gonna copy
We
after
supposed
them.
to be
I'm
taking the
gonna
whole. We
copy
supposed to be
after
taking.
them, Terry.
We need to mimic it.
We supposed to be taking note and following suit and saying, look what they doing. Let's follow suit. You see the results they getting?
Okay,
so now,
don't let your blood pressure go up.
So now
Next
we're
week
here.
we're running out of time, Ted. They telling me we got to sign off.
We got to be here next week, y'all. That's the first step.
Terrell, you see my
Yes,
kisses?
please.
You see my kisses?
Yes.
You guys, next week, same time. If you all don't blow this thing up, count me out. I'm not gonna have my head on the block and y'all ducking and hiding and
There you go, Dr. Milligan.
ducking and hiding and slipping and sliding.
That's how I feel. Because guess what? Hey,
Let's play Get Like 'em. Let's play Get Like 'em. Come on. We can do it,
that
black people.
leadership. We are that leadership now. We're at the table.
See you next week, you guys. Hey, Dr. Pam, my daughter got on. Hey, that's my baby, y'all.
Hey, what's up, Dr.
Hey,
Pam?
Pam. Hi, sister.